The sky rumbled like an angry giant, mirroring the turmoil in Kenji's heart. For weeks, he and his sister had chased the mirage of work, each day bringing fresh hopes that quickly turned to dust. Their meager earnings barely covered their stay, and the constant struggle was wearing him down. Was his father right? Was he truly cut out for this city life? The bustling streets that once symbolized opportunity now mocked him with their indifference. Aiko, ever perceptive, reached out to squeeze Kenji's hand. Her touch, though gentle, held an urgency that mirrored the darkening skies. "Kenji," she began, her voice soft yet laced with seriousness. "We need to talk." Kenji looked up from his hands, his face etched with fatigue and a hint of despair. The lively spirit that had animated his steps when he first entered the city had dimmed, replaced by a shadow of doubt. They found shelter under a tattered awning, the scant protection offering little solace from the downpour. "What is it, Aiko?" he asked, his voice hoarse, betraying the toll that the relentless struggle had taken on him. The question hung between them, unspoken yet understood. It was a question that had echoed in both their hearts since their arrival in this concrete jungle. A question about their future. "I think we should go home," Aiko finally said, her voice barely a whisper against the roar of the rain. The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of their shared dream and the harsh reality that had chipped away at it. The dream they'd held so close, the dream of a new life in the city, now seemed like a fragile thing, threatened by the very winds that had carried them here. Kenji felt his chest constrict. The thought of returning home, of admitting defeat, filled him with a shame so profound it bordered on pain. But as the rain intensified, mirroring the torrent of emotions within him, he knew that the strength of their bond lay not in holding on to dreams, but in facing reality together. As the rain continued its relentless drumming, Kenji wrestled with the decision. The city, once a beacon of hope, now loomed before him, a formidable challenge that threatened to swallow their dreams. The thought of returning home, of facing his father's disappointment, was a heavy burden. Yet the spirit of his late mother, with her unwavering belief in him, echoed in his heart, urging him to confront his fears and keep moving forward. Suddenly, amidst the grey expanse of the sky, a sliver of light appeared, catching Kenji's eye. It was a small ramen shop, its windows fogged with steam, offering a momentary respite from the downpour. Hope, like a tenacious vine, began to stir within him. The warmth of the ramen shop was more than physical. It was a sanctuary of shared stories and quiet understanding. Kenji found himself opening up to the owner, a woman with eyes as deep and comforting as the broth she served. He spoke of his journey, his dreams, and the doubts that had begun to cloud his path. As he shared his story, a sense of calm washed over him. The woman listened patiently, her gaze unwavering, and when Kenji fell silent, she offered words of wisdom that resonated deep within his soul. "Dreams are like the broth of life," she said, her voice as soothing as the steam rising from the bowl before him. "They may seem clouded at times, but it's the simmering, the slow cooking of life's experiences that brings out their true flavor. Don't be afraid to let those flavors blend. Young man, your dream, like this broth, needs time to reach its full potential. Her words were a balm to his troubled spirit. A reminder that life's journey was not a sprint, but a marathon. As he sipped the warm ramen, each mouthful carrying the essence of her wisdom, Kenji felt a renewed sense of purpose. He realized that his journey, with all its twists and turns, was part of the process. His struggles, his doubts, even his failures were not setbacks, but ingredients in the recipe of his life. Stepping out of the ramen shop, the rain had stopped. The sky, though overcast, no longer seemed threatening. With a newfound clarity, Kenji looked towards the horizon. The path ahead might still be cloudy, but he was no longer afraid to navigate through the grey. Days turned into weeks, then months. Summer's vibrant hues faded into the mellow tones of autumn, yet Kenji's spirit remained unbroken. He juggled multiple jobs, his days filled with the rhythm of the city. The paychecks, though modest, provided a safety net, a shield against the uncertainties of life. He met people from all walks of life, each interaction leaving its own imprint on his soul. There were gruff construction workers who taught him the value of hard work, quiet bookstore owners who introduced him to the magic of literature, and elderly caretakers who shared stories that spanned generations. From each, he gleaned a piece of wisdom that he tucked away, knowing that one day they might form the foundation of his success. In the tapestry of the city, Kenji found solace and growth. He learned to read the language of the bustling streets, the subtle cues of human interaction, the quiet poetry of everyday life. He discovered a strength within himself he never knew existed, a resilience that blossomed from the seeds of his struggles. One crisp autumn evening, as the setting sun painted the sky in shades of gold and crimson, Kenji stood at the window of his modest room. In his hand was a letter, not one filled with fancy offers or prestigious opportunities, but one that held the promise of a brighter future. It was a job offer, modest but steady. It wasn't the dream job he'd envisioned, but it was a starting point. He recalled the words of the kind ramen shop owner, "Your dream, like this broth, needs time to reach its full potential." And he realized that this job wasn't just a means to an end. It was a step in the slow, steady simmer of his journey. Each job, each interaction, each challenge was a spice that seasoned his broth, making it richer, deeper, more complex. A smile touched his lips as he looked at the letter. It wasn't just a job offer. It was a testament to his journey, a validation of his struggles, a promise of a future that, while uncertain, was brimming with potential. He had come a long way from the lost and confused young man who had first stepped into the city. He had faced rejections, navigated loneliness, and confronted his own weaknesses. But through it all, he had kept moving forward. And as he stood there, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, Kenji knew that the best was yet to come. The road ahead might have its share of challenges, but he was no longer afraid. He had tasted the bitterness of failure, the sweetness of small victories, and the depth of human kindness. And with each experience, he had grown, learning the valuable lessons that life offered so generously. The city, once a daunting labyrinth, had become his canvas, a place where he could paint his dreams with the colors of his experiences. He had come to understand that success wasn't just about reaching a destination, it was about the journey, the growth, the resilience, and the enduring power of hope. Just as the night follows the day, the moon takes over the sky, and the stars begin to gleam. Kenji's story, too, had reached a turning point. The struggles of the day gave way to the dreams of the night, and as he closed his eyes, he saw not just the hardships, but the glimmers of hope, the friendships forged, the lessons learned, and the unwavering support of his sister. With renewed determination, Kenji stepped into the new job. He approached his tasks with the same diligence and grace that had marked his journey so far. The walls of doubt that had once loomed large in his mind were now crumbling, brick by brick. With each passing day, his confidence grew. He was not just a young man trying to make it in the big city. He was Kenji, a testament to perseverance, a living example of how dreams, when nurtured by hard work and patience, can blossom into reality. News of his progress spread, opening doors that had previously remained shut. Opportunities that had once seemed out of reach now presented themselves. The city, which had been both his challenge and his canvas, was now rewarding his efforts. Yet, through it all, Kenji remained grounded. He understood that success wasn't a solitary pursuit, it was a shared journey. He owed his progress to the ramen shop owner, who had offered him more than just a bowl of soup, to the friends who had lent a helping hand, and most importantly, to his sister, whose love and support had been his anchor in the stormy seas of uncertainty. As the years rolled by, Kenji's story became a legend in the city, a tale whispered in the bustling markets, the quiet libraries, and the vibrant art studios. He became a beacon of inspiration, proving that the toughest battles are often fought not in grand arenas, but in the quiet corners of one's own heart. And so, the boy who had once dreamed of city lights found his story shining brightly against the backdrop of the city's skyline. A testament to the human spirit's extraordinary ability to overcome, adapt, and inspire.